Surveys show that around half of students in middle school and an extra one-fifth of students in high school have gotten into a school fight before, so I'm sure everybody has either been in a fight, watched a fight go down, or both. Personally, I've watched some fights and almost gotten into a few myself, and that's the subject of today's story, almost getting in school fights. Now, I've only graduated from 7th grade, so I still have a year of middle school left and 4 more years of high school, which means there's going to be a lot more drama-filled story times after this. So I'd suggest you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you know when one comes out. Anyway, let's begin. First story. This involves me and a kid we'll call Mike. Now, Mike was the kind of kid everyone liked for some reason, even though he was a total jerk overall. Now, throughout a little bit of 6th and 7th grade, we were beefing for I really don't know why. He was just being annoying, humiliating me, insulting me, the basic stuff. And I wouldn't say it was bullying, though, considering we didn't hate each other too much. We were just frenemies, I guess. Anyway, so this one day, Mike was totally pissing me off, like way more than usual. I decided to ignore it and move on with my day like I usually did. Fast forward to French class, and we had to take a quiz this day, so we opened up our Chromebooks and got to work. Now, a little background here, Mike does not care about French at all. In fact, sometimes he tries to be super disruptive so he gets sent to the office just to get to do no work. Now, Mike did not study for the test at all, so he kept shouting out stupid questions to the teacher, which I found quite irritating. So after his third or fourth question, I just blurted out, "Whap, whap." He immediately shoots back, "Shut your mouth." I kind of found it hilarious until the period ended and the test was done. Kids started leaving the classroom and I was gathering up all my stuff to put in my locker. Then, Mike walks up to me and goes, "You sure had a lot to say today, huh?" So I tell him that he needs a taste of his own medicine for once. So then he shoves me and I shove him back. Now we're in a match of shoving which turns into grabbing, even more shoving, and right when it was about to turn it into a full-out fist fight, the French teacher notices and yells at us to break it up. Then, she proceeds to scold the two of us about fighting, before escorting Mike to the principal's office. Now, you're probably thinking I got off free, right? Nope. I got called down 2 hours later and my parents called as well. The vice principal sorted it out between me and Mike, and if you're wondering, we didn't get into any more conflict then. Also, in this specific fight, I feel like even if I did win, I'll lose in the long term, considering that Mike's friends have jumped a few people. I'm still surprised that didn't happen to me. On to the next fight story. The second story involves me, my friend who we'll call Nathan, and a kid we'll call Axel. Now, me and Axel walk the same route to and from school. On my way back to school this one winter morning, Axel nails me with a snowball on my back, so I tell him I'll get him back the next day. It's all jokes, right? So the next day, I get him back, and he starts yelling about me how I'm a jerk and stuff. I shrug it off, and then during the rest of the walk to school, he shoves me and hits me with his jacket. So when we arrived at school, I've had enough. I had this one bag I was holding in my hand for indoor shoes because we did have gym class that day, so I swung the bag around and tried to hit him right in the head with it. But he unfortunately dodged it before I could. A couple minutes later, I was telling my friend Nathan about it, and we made a plan to get him back. So the two of us walk up to Axel, and we're like, "Hey, you better watch your back, because we're gonna jump you morning recess." And he's like, "Fine, fine, I don't care." Morning recess arrives, and we're looking for him. And it turns out he stayed inside because he was too scared. Then in lunch recess, we spot him and start following him, but he goes to a teacher before we could do anything. We quickly get away, and then in the afternoon recess, we finally spot him by himself. We pick up a lot of snow, like I mean a lot, and we start throwing it all at him until he falls down and he screams and whines for us to go away. We weren't actually going to beat him up until he put his hands on us. A week later, he comes up to me and said he's gonna fight me. Now, I am not scared of this kid, since at the time I was like 5'7" and he was like 5'1". Plus, I've seen him get his ass beat before. I'm positive I can take him. My friends also started giving me tips on how to beat him up, and I was planning to seriously fight him if he did anything after school. A couple days, we're both called to the principal's office. Apparently, the principal had got wind of the situation and fight threats, and she wanted to know what's going on. So we explained each and everything to her, and get this, even though I threatened to beat him up several times, I got in no trouble. In fact, the principal forced Axel to apologize to me, and just like the last fight, the two of us just became chill after that. Alright, so here's the third and final story I have for today. If you're a fan of my old channel, you might remember the video I made a year ago about me standing up to my bully. Well, this bully had a friend that I hadn't mentioned before, and we'll call him Sam. So it had rained for the past few hours this one day, which means that morning and lunch recesses were indoors. It stopped raining in the afternoon, however, and everyone was excited to go outside. Maybe a little too excited. Everybody was hyper, and it didn't take long before some kids started pushing and hitting each other. Two went down at the same time, and I was just watching in amusement. But then, guess what? I was pushed next, so I told this kid Sam not to touch me, and he pushed me again, so I slapped this kid right in the jaw. But that was terrible timing, considering that's right when the principal decided to look over in our direction. She yelled both our names out and put us on the wall. I don't know if other schools have this punishment, but if you do something wrong during recess, send you to a wall where you do nothing, then watch other kids play and wonder why you messed up in the first place. So thankfully, the bell for the end of recess rang in a couple of minutes, and the principal called us both over to her. Then she asked us what happened, and so I told her. And when she looked at Sam and told him to explain, he was like, I thought there was a brawl going on. Like, dude, no. Out of the 15 kids there, 4 were fighting in pairs, separately. That's not a brawl. It's just a stupid excuse for you to put your hands on somebody. And guess what? The principal had the audacity to tell me not to put his hands on him. What? He put his hands on me twice, and one was after I told him to stop. What am I supposed to do? And guess what? Right when I thought the situation was over and done with, my classroom's telephone gets a call for me to report down to the principal's office like the next day. So I did, and the teacher immediately started yapping about how I should have told the teacher immediately about what happened and not retaliated, blah blah blah. I don't remember if I did get a punishment or not, but I do remember thinking what the principal said was straight BS. Alright, that's it for today, everyone. Let me know if you have your own fight stories down in the comments below. Thanks for watching.